still alive? This is exactly how it happened 3 years ago. The battle is starting again.
It's coming!
There is no way to avoid your fate, James.
Kate, this is it. Give it all you got!
The House of the Dead 4.
Hey guys, I would like to welcome you back to 31 Days of Halloween. Yesterday I reviewed House of the Dead 3 on the PlayStation 3, and today I'll be reviewing the House of the Dead 4. The House of the Dead 4 was released to Japanese arcades on December 30th, 2005, and nationwide in early 2006. The House of the Dead 4 was developed by AM1, the original creators of the House of the Dead series, and they do an outstanding job. The House of the Dead 4 runs on the Sega Lindbergh arcade board, and I have actually had the opportunity to play the House of the Dead 4 arcade cabinet many times, and it's really fun. A home console port for House of the Dead 4 took a long time, and the main reason was the House of the Dead 4 was considered the most powerful arcade game for a long time, and it might even still be. And the game requires a lot of processing power, so porting it to any home console was going to take time, and because Sega made House of the Dead 4 on the Sega Lindbergh arcade port, they were able to port it to the PlayStation 3 more easily because both the PlayStation 3 and the Lindbergh use an NVIDIA GPU, but it still took Sega almost a full year to port the game, and I think the reason Sega didn't port this game sooner was because the PlayStation Move didn't arrive until September 2010. The PlayStation 3 port is outstanding, and it was well worth the wait. The House of the Dead 4 story takes place between House of the Dead 2 and 3. House of the Dead 4 begins 3 years after the House of the Dead 2. AMS agent James Taylor and Kate Green are working in the 5th floor basement level of the Italy branch of the AMS when suddenly a massive earthquake causes a massive collapse, and they're trapped down there for several days until they think they're being rescued, but instead are greeted by an army of undead, and they must battle their way to the surface, fighting herds of undead and other creatures and some pretty intense bosses, but on the way they discover that someone is trying to launch every nuclear weapon on the planet in an attempt to wipe out humanity, and stopping this from happening becomes their primary mission. House of the Dead 4 makes some changes to the core gameplay, but also keeps some new features introduced in the House of the Dead 3. House of the Dead 4 brings back the branching paths, except this time you can choose which path to take, and it creates some really good replayability. This time around, you are not saving any civilians, but you also don't have to save your partner, and instead, the House of the Dead 4 relies on constant action, and this is both a good and a bad thing. The ranking system is brought back from the House of the Dead 3, which helps encourage replayability, and to chase after the elusive S ranking. The House of the Dead 4 uses a machine gun, and the automatic reload feature from the House of the Dead 3 has been removed, so instead you pump the light gun or the move controller to reload. You are also given access to grenades, which come in handy, and if an enemy gets a hold of you, you can fight them off by shaking the controller until the gauge is full, and it's a nice new mechanic. The boss cancellation gauge returns from the House of the Dead 3, and you need to fill the gauge to stop an enemy boss, though they still take damage if you fail, but a lot more slowly. Alright, after fighting their way to the surface, our heroes discover that Goldman is somehow responsible even though he committed suicide at the end of House of the Dead 2. Talk about a major twist. The two race to Goldman's old headquarters, and you will probably notice areas taken from the House of the Dead 2, and the truth is, certain areas are back, but there have been some changes. After fighting your way past an army of undead and some really cool bosses, our heroes reach Goldman's office, and they stop the nuclear launch, but a pre-recorded message from Goldman starts playing, and he reveals that he never wanted to actually launch the nuclear missiles and destroy humanity, but he wants to bring humanity back to its natural state. And then he reveals that Pandora's box has already been opened, and our heroes race down to the street and encounter one final boss, and this is easily my favorite boss in the whole House of the Dead series. After defeating the boss, James sacrifices himself by destroying Pandora's box, but he tells Kate to never give up hope and to keep fighting just before he sacrifices himself, and Kate honors that request. And that was the ending of House of the Dead 4, but Sega released a side story called House of the Dead 4 Special, and it is included in the PlayStation 3 version of House of the Dead 4, and it's unlocked after you finish the game. In the side mission, you play as Kate, and Agent G shows up to help her, and their new mission is to stop the magician, and if you are successful, you will defeat the magician and win, and it's a really awesome side story. House of the Dead 4 is a really great game, and honestly, it might be my favorite game in this series. House of the Dead 4 has a really good side story that manages to fill a lot of the blanks set between House of the Dead 2 and 3, and it creates an amazing game in the process. House of the Dead 4 features easily the best visuals in the entire series, and there are some really interesting graphical choices, like the game features red blood, though you only actually see the blood on the ground instead of when you're killing the zombies, but another color for blood instead of green is brown. Yeah, brown. I have no clue why they chose to go with brown over green. The PlayStation 3 version of House of the Dead 4 also features 3D, but I haven't tried it yet. But judging by the hints I got, I am sure it's epic, and I think the House of the Dead games should get 3D conversions. The House of the Dead 4 is a technical marvel, not only featuring amazing visuals, but there is a huge amount of enemies on screen at once. Sometimes 30 zombies, and each one has their own AI and movement patterns, and there's absolutely no slowdown, and given everything happening on screen, that is amazing and a real technical achievement. The voice acting in the House of the Dead 4 is really good, and the music score really adds an extra dimension to the gameplay. House of the Dead 4 is excellent, but there are a few shortcomings. The PlayStation 3 port of House of the Dead 4 is outstanding. I have played the arcade original, and I can't see a difference. Sega did an excellent job porting the game, but while the arcade mode, which has been changed to survival mode in the PlayStation 3 version, is great, but there's not too many extra features. Other than the House of the Dead 4 Special, there is no time attack or boss rush modes, which is a shame, and there is a ranked mode where you can do battle for the best score in online leaderboards, and there are trophies, but not really much else. And while I do really like the fast-paced, action-packed gameplay, but I really wish the option to save civilians would have been brought back. Before I give my final score, I just have to say, Sega, why did you not give the House of the Dead 4 a physical release, given all the work you put into porting this amazing gem to the PlayStation 3? Why would you not give this excellent game a physical release? If not by itself, then along with the HD port of House of the Dead 3, this would have been flying off the shelves. Sega, you really missed a major opportunity here. The House of the Dead 4 is a really great game, and it's one I highly recommend you guys check out. I give the House of the Dead 4 a final score of 9 out of 10. Tune in tomorrow when I will be reviewing the House of the Dead Overkill Extended Cut for the PlayStation 3. I will talk to you guys later. This is the Entertainment Wizard, signing off.